Guys, we got a lot to talk about today. There has been a whirlwind of news over the past couple of weeks from Bungie regarding all of the changes coming in Season 15. There's a ton of them, and I'm sure if you're someone who's been on the internet a lot, there's a lot of leaks out there right now. We're not going to be talking about the leaks today. We're only going to be talking about things that have been confirmed by Bungie that we know are coming for sure in Season 15. There's a lot to cover, so we're going to get right into it. This is going to be sort of my top 7 things that you need to know about next season, coming from sort of a PvP player's perspective. There's certain things that I value more than maybe the average player, but there's still some really important details in here that change the game for everyone. So let's dive right into it. If you guys enjoy the video, do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Consider subscribing for more content like this. With that being said, let's dive right into it with number 1. Now, number 1 on the list for me personally, guys, is that Bungie has officially announced their anti-cheat. We are going to have anti-cheat in Season 15. It was sort of leaked a little bit early. Some help articles on Bungie's website went live a little earlier than expected, talking about the anti-cheat. They're using BattleEye, which I've heard mixed things about. I've heard good things, I've heard bad things. Obviously, cheaters are everywhere. Cheaters are still going to get through. It's going to happen. Nothing's bulletproof. But Bungie did then come out and officially confirm that they are partnering with BattleEye anti-cheat for next season. There's going to be a soft launch right at season launch where they're going to have to still manually review cases to make sure that BattleEye is functioning properly. But the goal is to eventually get it so that BattleEye can just automatically ban and just issue those bans and restrictions automatically without Bungie having to be involved manually with every ban. And this is huge because I'm going to be honest, I was about ready to stop playing the game because the cheaters were so bad. PvP is my thing in this game, and it's been ruined for far too long, and this is the saving grace. It's the reason why I'm continuing to play the game. On top of all the other changes are really good. I'm excited about everything, but this was number 1 for me. This saved the game for me personally. So say what you may about it. It may not be a bulletproof anti-cheat, but it's better than nothing. Beggars can't be choosers, so I'm just glad that we have it. We'll learn more about it, I'm sure, as the season launches. We'll see how effective it is, who knows, but it should make a difference for those trials players on PC, not running into aimbots and auto triggers and just wall hacks on your flawless game every frickin' card. So this should be a big quality of life improvement for all my PvP players out there. Now, number 2 is going to sort of affect more of the PvE side of things, but it is really important. It's a pretty big fundamental change to the game, and that is that as of Season 15, primary ammo will be infinite. There will no longer be a finite amount of primary ammo for your weapons. So think things like your hand cannons, SMGs, pulse rifles, all of that stuff you're going to have infinite ammo for. So you'll never have to worry about running out of primary. This is a really nice quality of life change. I was even playing some GMs last night. I was farming with my buddies. You can see I'm actually using that gameplay in the background here. I ran out of primary so many times in this GM. I was using Nightwatch, it was a scout rifle, and it's a GM. I mean, it takes a lot of ammo. We're literally taking down champions with primary, but I was running out of ammo all the time, and so were my friends. And so this will be a really nice change to not have to worry about that anymore. And it actually kind of brings a lot of implications for certain weapons, because things like Sweet Business, Bad Juju, Huckleberry, these weapons that automatically reload themselves on a kill, you're just gonna be able to go all day. I mean, you will never run out of ammo. So that's gonna be interesting. That might make certain builds shine a little better. It might be really fun. So I think it's a nice change. Of course, with that, they changed some perks and some things about like drop mag and some bow perks. They updated inertia override on Middle Tree Titan. So there's some other changes in here to go along with that, but that's really the biggest part, is that primary ammo will now be infinite. Now, number 3 on the list is going to be, it's kind of complicated, and it's exciting though at the same time. There is a massive fusion rifle rework planned for Season 15. They're sort of changing a lot of things about fusion rifles. They're really separating out the subfamilies, the archetypes inside, and there's a lot to it. They are getting a PvE damage bonus, so they're all going up about 15% damage wise, but the charge time is going to be different. High impacts will now charge slower. They have a base charge time of 1 second. They've changed the amount of bolts that are in the burst. They've adjusted the damage that are in the bolts. It's a lot different for high impacts. They might not be that great anymore considering that 1 second charge time. At least for PvP, they may not be very good. Precisions and adaptives like Adept or Plug 1, those will largely probably be the same, I think. Those aren't too crazy. Rapid fires, on the other hand, are very interesting. These ones might be crazy. Chris Proctor, the Sandbox lead, actually went on the Destiny Community podcast and detailed some of the changes about these rapid fire changes, how many bolts it'll take, how many bolts they're shooting. Rapid fires are going to shoot 9 bolts now. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe you need to hit 7 of them to one-shot kill. Depending on how that shakes out, that may be easy, that may be difficult, depending on how you have to track those bolts. But they do have a really short charge time now. It's less than half a second. So they're going to be really great. I mean, we'll see how they sort of shake out, depending if I'm sure there's going to be some new ones with great perks, and we'll have to see how they sort of land in the meta. But this is a pretty big rework of fusion rifles. They're changing some of the perks like liquid coils, accelerated coils. They're changing how charge time affects them so that it's not so much of a negative thing. It's not going to necessarily, it's still going to lower your damage. What did they say exactly on it? Let's see. Yeah, they changed Adept charge time, the Adept charge time mod, to not affect your damage anymore. And now the charge time masterwork won't be as detrimental because of the way they've changed the amount of bolts and the damage per bolt. It should never actually reduce or increase the amount of bolts you're gonna need to secure that kill. So it's not detrimental to your weapon anyway. It's just gonna reduce your charge time, which is great. So I think those will be some nice changes for fusions. It's extremely complicated, and I'm by no means a fusion rifle expert. So if you want to read more about it, I'm gonna leave links to all the TWABs and all of that. Definitely go read the notes yourself because it's very detailed. If you're really into fusions, definitely go check it out because it's gonna be pretty different. They're gonna be pretty meta next season, especially with all of the mods we know we're getting as well. Now, number 4 on the list, I want to talk about the subclass tuning that is coming next season. There's a ton of changes coming to the light-based subclasses, and they're all mostly buffs, which is great. We're seeing big changes for things like Middle Tree Voidwalker on Warlock is getting insane buffs, like 100% damage increased buffs. Like, that is a ridiculous patch note to read. Is that like, oh, handheld supernova does 100% more damage? Okay, that's ridiculous. That's going to be really good, especially considering certain mods. If we get things like Oppressive Darkness back next season, that subclass is going to be incredible. We're seeing a lot of different changes here. Again, wall of text, guys. Huge changes. I really encourage you to go and read the details so you can sort of, depending on what subclass you prefer, you'll see exactly what's being changed about your subclass. We've got Titan buffs, Hunter buffs, some changes to Revenant and their Silence and Squall. They're changing Top Tree Gunslinger, big Arc Strider buffs there, which is going to be big. Bottom Tree Dawnblade is getting almost an entire rework. That subclass is going to be very different than it is today come Season 15. Burns will be a lot different. Who knows if they changed any of the functions of that. But lots of subclass tuning coming to those light-based subclasses, which is very much needed to keep up with Stasis. Those light subclasses really needed some help. So I'm really excited to see them get that. And that sort of leads into the next subject as well. Number 5 on the list is that we're seeing a lot of exotic armor tuning as well. The majority of the changes have to do with the exotic armor that sort of generates super energy for you. So think of things like Shards of Galanor or Ursa Furiosa, Phoenix Protocol, those ones that give you super energy back when you use your super, things like that. Those are getting capped. So now they'll only be able to give you a maximum of 50% of your super back, which is good because these become a little abusive in in-game content. Think like Ursa Furiosa with Middle Tree Void Titan. Like you just sit in the corner and hold that, and that's that. That's the GM. You just hide behind it and you just spam that until you're at the end. It's a fun tactic, but it's a little watered down if you ask me. It's more fun to actually have to come up with strategies than just hide behind something. So this will be interesting. Everything's at least uniform on those super generating exotics. There's tons of other changes like Hunter Bombardiers are changing to Based on your subclass, they'll do different things when you dodge. Big buffs to Graviton Forfeit. Lucky Pants is getting a rework. We've got lots of changes here. The Stag and Verity's Brow for Warlocks. Big changes. Again, all of these details will be in there. Like Verity's Brow is going to be buffed. Stag is going to be buffed. So it's mostly bringing up underused exotics to be on par with other options. If you're looking for the details, of course, go read the TWAB. I encourage you to do it. The reason I'm not covering it here is because it's just numbers. It gets convoluted when you're trying to explain it that much in detail and covering these quick subjects. Now, the next one on the list is sort of a PvP-oriented one, and I know some people may be upset about it, but I'm very excited about it. That's some of these scavenger changes that are coming to the game. They are now making it so scavenger mods do not stack. So you're only going to be able to take advantage of one of them at a time. This will help a little bit with the special ammo economy in PvP because it's kind of out of control. We know that. You could be running around with 20 shotgun pellets all the time and just never take out your primary weapon. Just use your shotgun the whole game. If you're running double scav and you're good with it, you can definitely just, it gets a little obnoxious. So hopefully that brings things down a little bit. I think they could have just honestly removed them, if you ask me. But they also added a new type of mod called a holster mod, and it's sort of like an auto-loading holster for a specific weapon. So you could have like grenade launcher holster, and that's going to reload your grenade launchers for you whenever they are stowed. So that'll be a new type of mod to sort of fill in that gap where you're not running that second scavenger mod. You can run a holster mod if you want, or you could just have the extra points for other things as well. Another really big change, speaking of leg armor, is that I'm just going to add this one in. Traction is going away. This is a huge change for my controller players. I play on M&K, so it's not really affecting me, but I know that all my controller players out there have been screaming for this change for a long time. That perk sucks. It takes up a slot on your legs. You don't want to have to use traction. So they're adding that as a slider in the settings of the game. You can control your turn speed, and they also changed a lot of sensitivity settings and control settings for controllers. So that's a really positive change. Excited to see some of my controller players out there get some more control over their loadout. So that's a huge plus in my eyes as well. Now, finally, to sum it all up, personally for me, I know there's not been a lot of details on this yet, but we know we're getting some sort of Trials rework this coming season as well. It's been hinted at in the TWAB. They've said things like, oh, Trials weapons will be much easier to farm in Season 15. The running theory, and I know this does sort of get into that leaky territory, but this has been discussed openly, so I'm okay with talking about it. The running theory is that it's going to end up sort of like the raid chest system. So you'll be able to take your tokens from Trials, and you'll be able to buy specific weapons and farm those weapons using your Trials tokens, which is amazing. That is fantastic. If you can go and just chase down those guns and pursue the weapons you want instead of just RNG in an already super sweaty game mode, that never makes for a fun experience. I've heard they're also planning on reworking the card system, so it's not all about going flawless. You'll be able to just earn rewards if you stay on your card, and it may even be like a reputation-based system with Saint 14. We'll have to see the specifics on it. No one really knows quite yet. In that same vein, I've also heard that they're talking about doing a similar system for Iron Banner, where there'll be a reputation that resets every time Iron Banner comes around. You'll rank up that rep to earn weapons and armor, and they should be making that much more rewarding. Like, it's only going to be Iron Banner weapons and gear that drops in Iron Banner. I hate getting world drops in blues while I'm playing Iron Banner. It's never fun, so hopefully that comes in Season 15. May or may not be there. Those are just things I've heard around the internet, but the Trials rework is for sure coming, so that'll be very exciting, coupled with anti-cheat. Should make things much, much better for all my PvP-focused players out there. I'm very excited myself. Like I said, it potentially even saved the game for me. We'll have to see how it shakes out. But those are my 7 biggest changes coming to Season 15. I know there's like 1,000 other ones, guys. I know there's a ton of other changes, and I didn't go into too many specifics about certain exotics or subclasses, and those might mean a lot to you. I really encourage you to go and read the past few TWABs that Bungie has put out if you haven't read them already. A lot of information here, lots of changes, and there's a ton of stuff we don't even know about yet. On the 24th, there's going to be a huge live stream reveal. We're going to be streaming it here on the channel, so if you guys want to come and hang out while we check it out together, by all means, that would be awesome. The more the merrier, so be sure to get subscribed so you don't miss out on that. We'll be live streaming it here the minute the showcase goes live. So there's a ton of details we don't know about that we should find out about come this Tuesday. So let me know what you guys are most excited about. Is there something I missed, something I didn't talk about? Let me know. I think the season's shaping up to be pretty good. It's going to be a long season, so hopefully it can hold up and hold us over until Witch Queen. Let me know down below, guys. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and checking out the video, and I hope to see you on Tuesday at the live stream. Take care.